Hey guys, my name is Dr. Avanthika Chaitanya. I am a PGY1 at Mount Sinai Elmhurst in New York City in pediatrics. I pre-matched last year in November, and I think I owe a lot of my amazing match and pre-match prep to Match Resident. So, a little bit of background about me. I'm from India. I graduated in 2021. I passed all of my three steps, step one, step two, and step three. I did have a lot of research and I had 6 months of US clinical experience in pediatrics, and I applied to over 120 pediatric programs. And I ended up pre-matching in November. So that was a very short match journey for me, but I used Match a Resident a lot when I was preparing for the match, as in when I was preparing for my applications and sending in my applications. And it was very useful because I feel like the first thing it really helped me with was with signaling, because signaling programs was something really difficult because for me, I had not really visited, or I didn't know a lot of people in programs, so I didn't know how good or bad the program was. So when you asked me to signal my top five, especially before the math cycle and before interviewing, it's really hard because you don't really know much about the program. So I think Match a Resident really gave me, based on the list, it also gave me like a compatibility score, and based on the score, it would show me like the top five or top seven programs that I was most likely to match into based on my stats and based on my visa requirements and based on my research and USC and so on. So I think it was very personalized, and it did really help me to signal programs, and I think that really benefited my application as well. One amazing thing I really liked about the Match a Resident program list was mainly because it had a lot of stats based on like the number of IMGs who have matched from your country or from your med school. And I think that is probably a stat that you don't get in a lot of other residency list apps, websites, because I feel like sometimes you see that there are so many IMGs you have matched, but you also want to know more about the IMGs. You want to know if they were visa requiring, non-visa requiring. Were they all from a particular country, and different countries? Has anyone matched from your country? So I think Match a Resident gives you the breakdown of those stats, especially when it comes to IMG friendly programs, which I think again was super, super helpful. Another amazing thing I liked was the interview prep. That was amazing. They had an AI feature that helped you record your answers, and then you could view it later on with feedback to see how confident you were about whether you were using your hands too much, whether you were looking into the camera. So it had really good feedback, which I loved. They also had interview feedback. So based on people who've interviewed at the program before, who had also written a lot of like helpful tips and how just like basic feedback on how the interview went, how long was it, what did they expect from the interview, and so on. So I think that again was super helpful because sometimes when you're going into an interview, you're going in blind and you don't really know what's happening. So having read a couple of feedback from Match a Resident before I interviewed at a program really made me more confident, and also made me expect what was coming. So I think that was again really important. I think again the program list was brilliant. I was initially going to apply to a 140 or 145 programs, but after using Match a Resident, I shortened my list to around 120, actually lesser than 120. So I think I also narrowed down based on like the programs that I really wanted to be at, and also the programs that I felt that, okay, I might not be a good fit at. And I think this was very helpful and cost effective as well. I ended up getting 20 interviews, and it was really hard scheduling them. So Match a Resident also had a scheduler that I could use, where I could put in my interview dates, and it also tell me like how many gaps I had between my interviews. So that was also amazing. So it had amazing tools. I feel like I would definitely recommend Match a Resident to everybody applying this year because it's very personalized, and I think that's something that's unique to the interface, that it's very personalized. It kind of lists programs based on your stats and based on what you are looking for. And I think based on, it helps with signaling. It also helps with just like you ranking your programs. It also has an amazing rank order list, is something that I've heard. I didn't personally use the rank order list myself, but friends of mine who did told me it was amazing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend everyone applying to use Match a Resident, and go for it. Best of luck, guys, for everyone who's applying this year. I know it's stressful. It was really stressful for me last year at this time. I was freaking out. I was going through every single program. I was researching. I was trying to figure out, should I apply? Shouldn't I apply? What are the requirements? Am I missing out on anything. So yeah, best of luck, and take your time, research programs really well. Only apply to the programs that you really want to go to, but as an IMG, you also want to apply abroad. So keep that into consideration, and best of luck. And thank you, Matcha Resident, for all the amazing services that you provide for us IMGs. And thank you once again. Bye-bye.